Hello, and welcome to the Tripper Change, a weekly podcast hosted by Jackie Robinson and produced by Dana Bach, with some of the top thought leaders in the areas of voting rights, intergenerational conversation, news, and feature interviews with industry leaders. Our goal is to provide listeners with key takeaways and actionable advice for having a better understanding of the people we live with. We focus on several areas critical to getting along with others in a diverse world. By you listening to our Triple Change podcast, we hope to create a better world for our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, now and into the future. Let's start the show. Good evening, and welcome to Triple Change, the Triple Change podcast, the Jackie Robinson show. That's me, Jackie Robinson, produced by Dana Bach, and Dana's not with us this evening, but we wish her a happy evening with her family and her friends, and we'll see her next week. And so this is another episode of Triple Change for May the 25th, 2022. And the name of this podcast is The Beauty of a Long Lasting Friendship. It is our season 4, episode 15 today. And so before I get off into what I have on my mind, what we want to talk about this evening for Triple Change, I want to encourage you all to support the broadcast, support our efforts. Go out to tripplechange.com. That's the website. Also, you can reach us on Instagram, and definitely go out to our YouTube channel and subscribe, all at Trip of Change. And we welcome you to be part of our community as we bring you important information, especially in this election season, some things that are going on that we will be talking about. So go on out there and subscribe to our channel, our YouTube channel. Go to the website and send us your email address so you can be informed on episodes, very important episodes coming up. All right. Thank you for that. Wow. The last 2 weeks have really been something when it comes to our seniors and our children, our diverse communities of people that we live with every day. We are living in very troubling times. And every day it seems as though we are faced with horrific news of death. This last situation really has touched a lot of people, and hopefully there'll be some changes coming down the pipe, if not immediately, very soon. We pray that our family and friends are safe from danger as they walk these streets, because it's just no telling. These people were in very common areas, grocery stores, schools, churches, movie theaters, malls. And so it's getting very rough out here. And we pray that we are all protected by a knowing all spirit. And so it's very important then that you all get out the vote, research the people who are for gun control, especially for where you have to be certified, um, identity, a database of people who should not have guns. And so research these people who are running for office and see if they fit the platform that you believe in, and then get out and vote. And we will have more about voting in the months to come, because we know that um, Stacey Abrams will be running against Brian Kemp, and also Herschel Walker will be running against um, Reverend Raphael Warnock. And so these are very important races that are coming up in the midterm elections, and we need to get out the vote most definitely. And so we'll have more about that on Trip of Change, because we are in situations where we need a trip of change. We need to change our mindset. We need to change our goals. We need to change our way of living. We need to change our habits. There's a lot of things we need to change in order to be able to get along in this world. And so now, more than ever, it is important that we reach out to our friends. We all have friends. Hopefully, we all have friends. But a true friend is a friend when it is convenient and when it is not. They stand by you consistently, both when you are present and when you are not. They answer you with empathy, perspective, and honesty. True friends aren't phony with you. They show you who they really are. They're honest with you when it matters the most. And so, COVID took some of our friends out. Aging took some of our friends out. Loneliness took some of our friends out. And so now is the time more than ever to reach out to your friends and see how they're doing, because they're talking about another wave of virus coming. I don't know if that's true or not, but it doesn't matter. The thing of it is now is the time to really reach out to those friends that you recognize as your friends. So with that said, my good friend Yvette came to visit me from Washington, D.C. And so, for those of you who have never been to Atlanta, who are coming to Atlanta, coming to visit a friend, just on a corporate trip, a company trip, passing through, maybe have a long layover. Here are some places, some cool places that we went to while she was here. One of my very, very dear good friends. I've known Miss Yvette for over 40 years. And so that is truly an honor and a privilege to have a friend for that long. And so she came to visit. And I'm going to share some of the places that we visited. This is part of our Brass Feet series. And so if you're coming to Atlanta and you're interested in going to some very cool places, here's a place that we went to called the Atlanta Fish Market. Now, the Atlanta Fish Market has been around for a while, and but it was my very first time going to the Atlanta Fish Market. We met a very dear friend of mine, Mr. Mike Brown. Shout out to Mr. Mike Brown, president over at Brown Financial Group, and he introduced us to a friend that was a former fashion fair model. As a matter of fact, we had featured a fashion fair on a previous episode, and so we got an opportunity to meet her. But the Atlanta Fish Market, absolutely wonderful. The food was fantastic, and so you can check them out. They're up in Buckhead on Far Road. We also had dinner at Divine Restaurant. This is I forget what type of restaurant it is. Persian. I think it's Persian. But I had the kabibi kebab, which was lamb, and this jasmine type of rice and onions with seasoning on it. It was absolutely delicious. And so, um, that is definitely a place you want to check out. The atmosphere was really nice and the service was impeccable. We had two young ladies, Ashley and Israel, I believe. their names were. That's honey child, if that was not your name, I apologize, but you guys were absolutely marvelous in giving us quality, excellent service. And even the maitre d', the owner, or I believe that maitre d' of the restaurant, he was so nice to us. He gave us a special treat, one of their desserts, complimentary on the house. And so thank you to Devon Restaurant over on 15th Street in Midtown in Atlanta. So that was very nice. We had a very nice dinner at that restaurant. We also visited the Atlanta History Center in Atlanta. It's 33 acres of gardens, of museums. They have a cafe. They even have the cyclorama, which was the Civil War mural that used to be at the Atlanta Zoo. It is now at the Atlanta Historical Society, or the Atlanta History Center. Doesn't turn like it used to when it was at the zoo, but it is dimensional, and so it's something that you may want to see. But there are other African American artifacts in the museum. They feature Maynard Jackson and some other historical men and women in all facets of life. And so, shout out to the Atlanta History Center over on Paces Ferry. Yeah, so we really enjoy touring that facility. Where else did we go? Oh, yes, we went to the Atlanta Symphony. This was an event at the Symphony where they perform Giuseppe Verdi's Rigoletto, and it was only Act Three. And in Act Three, they had the in this particular picture, it is Act Three Aida. I think that's how you pronounce it, Aida, Aida. And it was performed by Michelle Bradley, Denise Graves, Clay Hilly, Reginald Smith Jr., and Barack Bagheli. Yes, it was absolutely marvelous. And the storyline was scandalous, child. It was scandalous. Okay, because in this particular act of Aida, what's happening is the Ethiopians are fighting against the Egyptians, and the king of Ethiopia daughter is in love with one of the generals of the Egyptians. And so it's scandalous in that there are women in here who are using their feminine guiles to portray the general, and he gives away pertinent information in terms of an upcoming battle. And so it was really sung in such a way as it was passionate, and it was sung in a foreign language. And even though you didn't may not understand the language that they were singing in, they had a drop down screen that had the translation in English, so you could kind of pretty much keep up with what was going on with the storyline. But I had pretty much read in their little booklet what the storyline was. And so it was just absolutely amazing. So if you get an opportunity, check out the Atlanta Symphony. They've got some events coming up that may be worth your while. They have people coming to visit. So yeah, the symphony was nice. Oh yes, and we went to the International Farmers Market, the DeKalb Farmers Market. And if you've never been to the DeKalb Farmers Market in Decatur, Georgia, it is absolutely marvelous in terms of the amount of variety of various products, produce that you can get. Wines, they have wines from all around the world. They have various beer. If you're a beer drinker, they have an extensive beer section. Also, their wine section is very extensive, and their produce is fresh, from their greens to their beets to their carrots, onions, everything. Even in the seafood section, they have live crab, live crawfish. They have various different types of fish. You go to some of these restaurants, and check out what's on their menu, and then you could go to the International Farmers Market and find those same ingredients and cook it yourself. As a matter of fact, I did that from the Devon restaurant. We had a beet salad. It was orange beet and red beet on arugula with a lemon zest dressing and goat spread on the side. It was so good. It was just a very delicious dish. So I picked up some beets and some arugula from the farmer's market and made that salad. Unfortunately, I didn't have the goat cheese, not that particular brand or flavor, rather. But I did have some lemon and olive oil, and it was just a marvelous dish. And so, if we could come when your friends come or your families come to Atlanta, take them out there to the International Farmers Market. They even have international coffees, either ground or whole beans, and you can get them to ground the beans up. It is what is a wonderful experience out there at the International Farmers Market. So yeah, that was amazing to experience that with my friend, um, because as we go through life, we meet people almost every day. Most of them come and go with faded memories, but it is truly an honor and a blessing to be able to have a good friend, to have good friends. We get to know them more than anyone else and form bonds that last for years. A good friend is a true gift from God to be treasured. There's someone you can depend on when things go wrong, and someone to celebrate when life is good. And that's exactly what Yvette and I did these past few days while she was here visiting me. We celebrated the good life. And also when I traveled with my friend Dana, when we went to New York City, rather, we celebrated the good life. So, ooh, let me drink to that. Drink to the good life. Hmm. If you want good friends, you should be a good friend yourself. Absolutely. When you're a good friend, people will want to be around you. Not only that, but you'll strengthen a bond that can last a lifetime. I've said it before and I say it again that some of the friends that you had, maybe from high school, maybe from college, or maybe from uh, your career working in a particular company, some of these people are not around for various reasons. And so it's time for us to celebrate our friends. And there are various ways that you can celebrate your friends. I want to talk about my good friend Cindy. I've known Cindy for a very long time when I started working on trying to be an entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur as a executive for like Lockheed Martin, rather. She was able to help me put together some processes, some business processes that were critical to running a successful business. And aside from that, we've talked about various things, whether it's politics or whether it was scandal on with Kerry Washington. She and I have been friends ever since we met at Big Bethel AME Church, and so I appreciate Cindy. And so one of the things that you can do as a good friend is to speak honestly. Honesty makes some people uncomfortable. When you speak the truth, some people find it uncomfortable. It's hard to be open and honest with another person because they often don't want to hear what you have to say. But you still have to be honest with your friends. Good friends speak honestly because it relates trust. A good friend is someone that you trust, and vice versa. They trust you as well. They want to know that you'll be the person who will tell it to them straight, not sugarcoat it, and a lot of times tell them what they think they may want to hear. No, you have to be straight up with your friends and do it with love. It means that they can count on you. A good friend, especially when will be honest about very important things. They'll tell you if you're being treated unfairly or if you're in a bad relationship. You know, you've had those conversations with your good girlfriends and say, look here, girl, something don't smell right. It don't look right. Even in business, you know, you get an opportunity to share a prospective project with a good friend that you trust, and they will give you some really good advice, and you could take it, evaluate it, and then use it to your advantage. And so they'll know that it's important for you to hear what they have to say. That's a good friend. That's a very good friend. This is my friend, Miss Dana Bach, who is the producer of the Triple Change podcast. And she and I met some time ago in Portland, Oregon. You've heard this story about how we came to be friends for over several years. And sometimes, you know, you have friends that you may not talk to for a long time, but you're still friends. And look at the smile on her face. We are both smiling because we're friends. And when you have a true good friends, they make you feel valued. When you've been hanging out with someone for a while, you might start taking them for granted, and that's something you really don't want to do. You don't appreciate them as much as you should, and you cannot let that happen. You can especially not take a friendship for granted. Good friends let each other know how important they are. Even simple display of gratitude are great signs of appreciation. Friendships can come and go. If you don't want to make your friend think you're drifting away, you should let them know just how much they mean to you. That's what good friends do for one another. And so, even though there are times when we may not be feeling our best, we may not be thinking in terms of making some of the best choices, understand that you do have friends and you can reach out to your true friends. And if they really are your true friends, they will respond. They will respond in a kind and loving way, letting you know that they are truly your friends. Yes, your friends. Here's also a very good friend of mine, Miss Nanelle Marby. Miss Nanelle Marby has spent a long time in the banking industry in Dallas, Texas. She's comes out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Very dedicated to her family, dedicated to her organizations that she supports, dedicated to her volunteerism in terms of the things that she does for young people, the things that she does for others, the things that she does for women in business. And so Nanelle is truly a friend because she always encourages me to continue to do the things that make me happy. And 9 times out of 10, I'm going to look up and there's going to be a card in the mailbox from Nanelle, whether it's Easter, whether it's Christmas, whether it's my birthday. And so we appreciate Nell a lot for her friendship, because friends can be good cheerleaders. A good friend is a positive influence. If you tell them about a dream or a big goal, they'll be encouraging. You can count on them to be in your corner to motivate you to success. No matter what life throws at you, a good friend will be there to build you up. They want to see you become better and grow as a person. If you ever doubt yourself, they'll be there to say the right thing. Whenever you're feeling down, they'll be there to remind you how awesome you truly are. And that definitely is Miss Nanelle. She is always encouraging others to succeed, and very supportive. And so we thank her, and we thank Miss Dana Bach, and we thank Miss Cindy, and definitely we thank Miss Yvette Wood, absolutely, for being good friends. Good friends. Yes. And so tonight I wanted to introduce you all to my good friends because again, we are living in some horrific times with death all around us. And we are getting older. We're seniors. We have challenges. We face issues. And so it's important to not be alone, to have the comfort of knowing that you have good friends that will be there with you in the good times and in the bad times. When it's raining or when it's sunny, you'll have your friends. I want to thank my councilman of East Point Ward A, the Honorable Lance Robinson, for his continued service to the community. Thank you, Mr. Robinson. We appreciate you very much. Also, it is springtime heading into summer, and I have started to read more, and I am starting with a couple of books. This book called Being a Dad is Weird: Lessons in Fatherhood from My Family to Yours by Ben Falcone, with a foreword by Melissa McCarthy. And so we are thinking about doing some podcasts for the month of June to talk with dads and to talk with men about their perspective on life. And so I'm going to read that book. And then also I have Terry McMillan's book, It's Not All Down Here from Here, a novel by Terry McMillan. And what drew my interest in this book is that she is writing about someone who is celebrating their 68th birthday. And so, me being in that particular age group, I thought this would be an excellent book by Terry McMillan. I've read some of her other books. One of that comes to mind was the book she read called Mama. That was a excellent book. I think that might have been one of her first books. And so we're going to be sharing information about those two books coming up in the month of June and July. Let's see. All right, we got the books. We got that taken care of. All right. I want to thank you all for listening. We talked about the different places that you can go to in Atlanta when you have family or friends that visit. We talked about the Atlanta Fish Market. We talked about Devon Restaurant, the Atlanta History Center, the Atlanta Symphony, the DeKalb Farmers Market, and various other things that you can do here in Atlanta. I wanted to especially focus on how to be a good friend. And so I touched on three different tips that you can use to be a good friend. The other remaining five are found on the website at tripofchange.com. So go on out to the website and read that article on what it is to be a good friend. Next week, we're going to have Kim Averhart from Averhart Travel. She was supposed to be here this evening, but scheduling kind of got away from us a little bit. And so we will have Miss Kim Averhart next Wednesday, June the 1st. And we will be talking about travel tips for the upcoming season rather. Summer is coming, and I'm sure you guys want to get out and start to travel a bit more. My one friend is going to Portugal, Lisbon, Portugal, and so I'm really anxious to see some of the pictures and things that they're going to be bringing back from that trip. Be going out to YouTube again and subscribe to our channel at Trip of Change. Trip of Change is the name of the channel. Go on out there and subscribe. Sign up on our website at tripofchange.com. To get in touch with me, I'm at podcastoftripofchange.com. And Dana, the podcast co-host and producer, is at dana@tripupchange.com. And so, yes, we have definitely been on a trip of change the last few weeks. And we are again praying that our family and our friends are safe as we travel along the way. All right. Until next time, keep smiling and take a